What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 672 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you fresh off of PLL semifinals weekend, fresh off that Eagles win. Still waiting for Monday Night Football, obviously, and that home opener. But I thought, in our progressive catch-up here that we have had, I have a fun episode that I've been figuring out when to kind of roll this out, but I feel like it's good. We're in the midst of a very busy part of our year here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and I think it's a fun peek behind the curtain for what we do and how we've been able to grow in so many different aspects. So I'm going to break down a very fun topic for you guys. I hope this is insightful to what we do here and how we've been able to make the best of opportunities that have been put in front of us. So before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social media platform. Follow us. And of course, follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and on Instagram at KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Those two in particular, because we get direct analytics about how we're growing on there. So keep on subscribing. Leave those 5-star reviews. It does go a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire network of podcasts. So keep subscribing. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We're on that road to 1,000 subscribers. End of year goal is to get there, so let's make that happen sooner rather than later. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below. And, of course, we are onboarding here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. The application is linked in the description of the video and audio versions of this podcast. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. Proud presenting sponsor of Underground Sports Philadelphia and a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron as well. And, of course, big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Now, here's the fun topic. I've wanted to talk about this a ton, and I've thought about starting my own solo, kind of inspired by the morning meeting with John Boy. Just don't have the right timing for it yet. Maybe it's a 2025 project for me, but who knows. But I want to talk about some of the important partnerships that we have here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. We have some of the coolest sponsors, some of the best opportunities that we have gotten over the past 6 years now, whether it be with sports teams, leagues, sponsors, partners, whatever it may be. We have gotten incredibly lucky, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. In a lot of ways, I do think we are very good at what we do, and in a lot of ways, we have gotten super lucky and opportunistic in a lot of avenues. And number one that I'm going to talk about is the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland is my hometown. It is where the core four of the crew that originated this podcast and this podcast network all grew up. myself, Matt, Dom, Dylan are all from Vineland, and it was pretty cool on our anniversary episode going into last year. It was our 5-year anniversary episode that we got to announce all together that the city of Vineland was getting on board with us as a presenting partner. And to have your hometown backing you is one of the coolest things ever. You know, I always talk about the city of Vineland on here. I know we're a Philly-based podcast and everything, but South Jersey is effectively a Philadelphia suburb with our sports fandom and the way that we go about our day-to-days, and a lot of our slang and dialect is the same. So to have our hometown backing us and supporting us, and to have the support of high-ranking officials in our backyard is super awesome. Like, to have the support of the place that built us, the place where we record this podcast weekly, is such a cool feeling. And to know that, you know, we can make a phone call and say, hey, we'd love to do a pop-up event here, or we'd love to be a part of this event that's going on in the city. Can we make it happen? 99% of the time it's going to happen. You know, we were supposed to be at National Night Out this year. Unfortunately, due to weather, it got canceled. But, like, we were going to have a live show at National Night Out, and that would have been a whole new audience in our hometown to kind of garner interest from. And I think it's a cool thing when you see our name attached to our city. It's one of those things that it gets the local community their eyeballs on it. It makes other small businesses and other companies see, oh, the city of Vineland is backing them. Maybe I should go talk to them and see how we can forge a relationship. And that's kind of where we are now with everything too, is seeing, you know, who we can also go to as a potential sponsor, partner in our backyard and make things happen, while also working our way into Philadelphia, while also working our way down to the shore towns and everything. Because I think being able to corner the market on sports media that's independent, that's not reliant on terrestrial radio, that's not reliant on, corporate entities. You know, you're dealing with the creators. And I think the city of Vineland understands what we're trying to do. They understand what our message is to our listeners. They let us be ourselves. They're not afraid of the harsh reaction we'll have to Philly sports losses. They also embrace the wins. Like, they want us to be authentically ourselves. And I think that's the coolest part about working alongside our city, is that even with that attachment, we're still, at the end of the day, going to be authentic Philly sports fans. And that's what this whole idea was forged on, was being fans, talking about our sports teams the way that other fans want to hear our sports teams talked about. And to have a presenting partner like that, that understands that truly knows what we're trying to accomplish and is willing to help us accomplish our goals in any way possible is super cool. And it's one of our most valued partnerships we have, for sure. And to have the city of Vineland, like, to have an entire city, and it's the largest city by square mile in terms of population in the state of New Jersey. Like, that is crazy. And there's so much history here, and there's so much that divulges into that the city of Vineland understands what we're trying to do. They see another show on our network, and we can sell that show to them as well. And recently we sold the city of Vineland on Guzman's Gridiron, which is our Vineland High School coaches show with the football team. And that in and of itself is a partnership that we are so lucky to have. So I'll start with the Vineland football partnership and everything. And that came to us. That was not us presenting the idea to the football team. And Dan Russo, I'm forever thankful for him for approaching us and, coming to a Vineland High School alumni to want to do this with. They saw what we were doing because we had Jameel Demby, our guy, on at his draft party. And then later that year, they saw we had the means to do so, and they had the idea. So they pitched it to us, and from there, that's where Underground Sports Philadelphia's partnership with Vineland High School football started. And it's evolved into so many things, not only for our company, but for me personally as well. And it's one of our longest running partnerships to be in tandem with my high school's football team, which has led to me being asked to be the play-by-play announcer for our football team, which then spiderwebbed into me basically calling every single sport at my high school and being a part of the day-to-day sporting events throughout a school year is super special to me. Being able to call a football game at any level is a tall task, and it's something that I love to do. I love calling football. Every game night is such a joy. Up in the booth with my partner Rich Scarpa, who it's cool. I grew up with his kids, so to kind of get to work alongside their dad now it's a whole full circle moment there for us. And then being able to call the other sports, to be able to call soccer, where I have a great relationship with a lot of the coaching staff on the boys team there, to watch a girls team that is incredibly talented. And then, when the winter rolls around, to be on the pool deck again. I'm a former swimmer, if you don't know me personally. My sister is the head coach of the boys swim team at our high school, so to be on the pool deck with my sister again is something that I genuinely enjoy every single chance I get to call a swim meet. And the girls head coach was one of my coaches growing up, and we have a great relationship as well. Calling basketball games has been a learning experience for me. Basketball is not my first love, but calling basketball games is certainly an amazing time. It's high pace, it's a lot of scoring, and to be able to do that as well with the boys and girls basketball teams at my high school is super fun. And then the spring rolls around, I get baseball, softball, lacrosse, boys tennis. It's really such a joy to be able to have the broadcasting gig I have. That all started because Vineland High School football wanted to do a podcast, a coach's show, essentially, with us, and us produce it, and it be an Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast. And since Coach Rousseau has stepped away as the head coach, it continues on with Coach Jose Guzman, who is an absolute delight. I love every single week sitting down with him, breaking down the game, talking about our alumni, talking about the sport of football as a whole. It is one of the coolest things we get to do here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and to have the city of Vineland attach themselves to that also shows me that they want to see the youth in our community succeed and have a platform that is so well perceived, and a platform that is a place that they want their name attached to. And to see that this year from them is super cool, and it's our first time having the opportunity with a full-on, sold show partnership, go from one show and going back to them and saying, hey, we have this other idea that we think you'd match up perfectly with. We'd love to have you attached to it. It's the first time that's happened for us here, and we're hoping that happens more and more with some of our other partners. So it is such a unique spider web that has happened because of our relationship with Vineland High School football, that has now branched to the city of Vineland, that has branched to me getting my broadcast job. It is really cool, and I genuinely love our partnership with Vineland High School football. It is such a fun, awesome show, and if you're not subscribed, we made a new RSS feed this year. It is still available on this feed, but there's an all-new Guzman's Gridiron feed that if you just want to listen to that show, it's on there. So go subscribe to that as well on Apple and Spotify. It is one of our most successful shows, 7 years running now. It is our first, it's our second spinoff show. It went this podcast, Top Bins, Guzman's Gridiron, Outside the Box. And it's funny that, we didn't realize that we basically had a mini podcast network going early on. And like year one, we started with this show in February of 2018. Top Bins rolls around a couple weeks later, goes for 13 episodes, and then goes on a 4-year hiatus. But then Guzman's Gridiron, which was formerly the Dan Russo Show, comes around in September of that year, August, September. And then Outside the Box starts in December of 2018. And then we didn't have any other expansions until 2020. And then 2023 was our most recent expansion with our F1 show with Casey and Owen. So yeah, I mean, to have those relationships are pivotal with the city of Vineland, with Vineland High School football, with Vineland Public Broadcasting. It's super opportunistic, and it's something that came to us. Like I said, it's not something that was us pitching it to them. It's not like it was, something we sat around and was like, yo, let's approach it this way. It came to us, and we're so thankful for that. And then some of our other partnerships, too, with Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated. Those are two of our earliest sponsors that have stuck around since the beginning. Those are two of our OG early days, like when we first started saying, hey, we're looking for sponsors. They got on board with us and have not left. We've had sponsors leave. We've had sponsors say, hey, we can't renew anymore, which is totally fine. Appreciate them for supporting us in the early go or any point in time. But Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated are, through thick and thin, our longest running sponsors on this show. And to have the support of two local businesses, of people who are from this area, who I have known or people I know have known for years, in our corner wanting to see us succeed, is genuinely something I will never take for granted. And I'm so appreciative of those two companies in particular for seeing the vision early on, doing what they could to support us, and have not left our side since. It is genuinely, it warms my heart, honestly, and I'm not just like trying to be cheap. Like, it is the coolest feeling ever to have two companies like that be in our corner, practically from 6 months in, I want to say, maybe a little later into, like, it was year one. They've been on board since 2018 and have not left. And it is the coolest thing. They genuinely ask CFO Margie, hey, when's the re-up coming? Because they want to stay with us. And to have long-lasting partnerships like that and relationships with people who care about the betterment and success of this company means the world to me. So thank you to those two as well. And, that then trickles to, like I said, with OTB in 2018. That summer, the PLL rolls around. And you're probably like, Kyle, the PLL pays you guys? No, the PLL does not pay us. The PLL does not do that. We are media members, first and foremost, but we are full-fledged supported by that league in a way that I could have never expected. The fact that the PLL started at the turn of the calendar of us going into our second year of operation was one of the biggest things that could have possibly happened. The PLL starting and OTB getting going in tandem with the PLL changed the trajectory of this company so much. The PLL, guys, the PLL is the fastest growing North American sports league out there. And we have had a podcast called Outside the Box, our official lacrosse podcast on this network, grow in tandem with that league since day one. And OTB, I'll go back to it in a second, but OTB has grown in tandem with two factions of lacrosse: the return of the Philadelphia Wings and the PLL. The PLL, Mike and Paul Rabel are two of the best people I know, hands down. And the relationship that I have with them is second to damn near none. They are two of our biggest supporters. They want to see the betterment of this company and our shows that they are associated with, which is this one and OTB, obviously, because the Philadelphia Water Dogs now. But the unprecedented access that the PLL gives us week in and week out to cover their league, to support their league, because at the end of the day, I am going to support the PLL until the end. They understand what we're doing. They get that we're independent, and they support and promote that as much as they possibly can. And to have shows that are growing in tandem with a sports league, that are connected at the hip, essentially, on the rocket ship that is going to the sports league's moon that the PLL is on, is something I'll never take for granted. And, we have had so much growth because of our lacrosse coverage. It separates us as a company from so many of the podcast networks out there. There's really only one podcast network out on the interwebs that has lacrosse coverage. Granted, for the most part, it's only during college and PLL season. That's the boys over at the Crease Dive at Barstool Sports. Love Jordy, love Dukes, love Matt Nessler. But Barstool's also not, it's not a financially backed podcast at Barstool. OTB is something we invest in heavily here. And that's never going to change. It's one of our biggest projects we have coming out of Underground Studios. And it is one of our biggest fan bases, one of our biggest downloaded shows week in and week out. And the fact that people come to us for lacrosse coverage is huge, especially when the sport is on an upward trajectory, on a rocket ship, both indoor and outdoor. And the fact that we have relations with the entire PLL, and OTB has relations with some of the teams in the NLL, whether it's just a follow on Twitter or more directly. And obviously, the Philadelphia Wings are number one because they're also associated with this show being in Philadelphia. And now the Philadelphia Water Dogs are here, so we have that Philadelphia Water Dogs connection as well. The way that our network hitched our wagon and we really went all in on lacrosse coverage, and that's a credit to Dom. Dom Ponteri is a huge reason why lacrosse at Underground Sports Philadelphia is as big as it is. He brought the concept to me, and I said, hey, I'll run with you if you start the engine. And it's exploded into what it is now, and I have fallen in love with the sport, and it is genuinely one of our biggest reasons for success is the Outside the Box podcast and the growth in tandem with the Philadelphia Wings, return to Philadelphia, and the PLL as a whole, embracing us and genuinely making us like one of the national media outlets for their league and for the sport. It is something that is so invaluable that I can never understate how special it is to have that relationship with the PLL and Mike and Paul Rabel and everybody at the Premier Lacrosse League and everybody with the Philadelphia Wings on top of that. Philadelphia Wings have embraced us unbelievably, and the support, access, anything we need, it's there for us. And I'm so thankful for everyone at the Philadelphia Wings. So yeah, lacrosse as a whole is a partnership and a thing that is huge for our success. To which branches out to one of our biggest partnerships ever is with Shoot Out for Soldiers, which is genuinely two of the greatest people on earth, Eric Minio, Alexis Brandolini. Us coming to the table this summer prior to the PLL season starting and saying, how can we make this work? And making it work, obviously there's always bumps along the way, and we have learned from some of those mistakes and are bouncing back from those mistakes. But they have seen the vision of OTB and Underground from the jump and came together with us on an idea to just promote Shoot Out for Soldiers, which is genuinely taking community in lacrosse and meeting them at the dinner table, which is a beautiful thing, and helping veterans and helping people who have served our country through the sport of lacrosse. And Shoot Out for Soldiers is a partnership, whether it continues past this summer or not. It's a nonprofit that I will support through and through because of the people who are running it and the fact that they believe in us, and have never wavered in that belief of what we're able to accomplish is something that I will never take for granted. And they are such special people, and Shoot Out for Soldiers is such a special entity that I'm forever grateful for. And because of OTB, that partnership comes along, and it made our summer this year for covering the PLL so much easier and so much more doable in so many aspects. And, being able to tell stories of so many awesome people and get that out in front of so many people is so special, so awesome. And it is truly like one of the coolest partnerships we have struck for this company ever. So yeah, OTB growing alongside two rocket ships gets us Shoot Out for Soldiers in our corner, and somebody that we love promoting and love being attached with, and hope that partnership continues on forever. We have partnerships as well with Guzman's Gridiron, to circle back to them too, like with another local business in Allen Associates. They were the first company to sponsor that show. They came back this year, and they love supporting our student athletes here in Vineland. And to have them on board for multiple years now is awesome. You build that relationship up. They want their services advertised to a certain demographic, and we are more than willing to do that, and they are the best. And we're super thankful for them being a part of that show. And, to have even minor partnerships, with Guzman's Gridiron too, like being able to do it on location pretty much every week at the Double Eagle, which has become like an institution for Vineland football and for Underground Sports Philadelphia in so many ways. It's like a nest for us. We're thankful for them. And, even smaller partnerships and everything that we have, from when we worked with Wasted Wedge, who I know the owners of the company, and they've gone on a rocket ship and attached themselves to a marketing firm, so we don't have the sponsorship with them anymore. But early on we were advertising them, and they are a product that is different and unique to the golf space, and we were so happy to be able to advertise them. And then, to be attached to something like Kenwood Beer when we do tailgates and things of that nature, and to have any show that has like a pick segment, we tie in Kenwood Beer, and it's Beer Money Picks of the Week. That's on OTB, on Get in the Hole. a local Philly brand who believes in us, and anytime we're doing a live event, it's like, hey, can you hook us up with, product for it? And drop of a hat, it's there. They are amazing people, and we're so thankful for Kenwood. And we want to nurture that relationship even more and build that up so that when Kenwood eventually has their own, breweries and everything, we're there for it. Something like PHI Apparel Company, who we send over designs for, and we have merch available for our listeners. Something as simple as that is awesome. And to have partnerships and relationships in this business are so pivotal and so vital. And, just the ones I rattled off there are huge. And, we've worked with a company like Manscaped in the past, and they were great. And maybe we were ahead of our time on working with them, because I look back and it's like, damn, we were doing that in 2020. And, we were so much smaller than we are now, almost 5 years later, that, like, I would love to work with Manscaped again in a much bigger capacity than we were. We only signed with Manscaped for a 3-month kind of like trial. And early on, it was going great. And then, when you're as small as we were 2 years in, you don't have as much of a listener base and a follower base to make those sales that a company like Manscaped is looking to make. But like, we got an opportunity to learn that way. And I think that is super important in this business too, is learning from some of the failures. And they may not even be really failures. It's just almost like, missteps, where it's like, okay, maybe we overvalued ourselves at that time. And that's okay to do as a business owner. It's okay to overvalue what you bring to the table, because then you learn where you're at. And that's been a huge process for me over the years, and especially this year in particular, where we are learning like where we're at as a company, and where we're at in the growth process, and what we're capable of doing. And we have 3 juggernaut year-round shows on this network. It's this show, Outside the Box, and our F1 show, that week in and week out are producing numbers that are awesome for an independent media company. And then we have 2 shows that are a tier below, and that's nothing a slight to either of those shows. I'm part of one of them. And that's Get in the Hole and Streamer Season, our pandemic baby podcasts, where there's been a lot of turnover with Get in the Hole, and there's been a lot of change and format change and adaptation that they've had to kind of like learn as they go almost. And Streamer Season is one of those things where we're still finding our footing with that show. And, we've done live events for Get in the Hole. We did a live Masters watch party at the Double Eagle. We were at a reopening of a very popular golf course here in Vineland with Get in the Hole. F1, our F1 show, that will have a new name pretty soon, due to recent events from Formula One themselves. They have done watch parties and a live podcast in year 2 of existence at a local Philadelphia brewery at Human Robot, and building that relationship. That is almost like our Philadelphia adjacent to the Double Eagle. And so learning what we're capable of, we've done a parking lot podcast twice. One that was absolute dog water year 1. And then we evolved it last year in 2023 to a huge thing that we attached multiple partners to. There's so much that I know we're capable of doing, and it's just a matter of executing it the right way. And that is the fun part and the stressful part of being a business owner. And this year in particular has been incredibly stressful, from multiple members of our team kind of either disappearing, they're still alive, but they've like disappeared from the zeitgeist of podcasting, or have chosen to step away for endeavors that are more important to them right now and are more career driven for them right now. And that's totally fine. It's just been a gauntlet of things that have been thrown at me, and kind of juggling the business ops, the content, and my life schedule in this pyramid of craziness. And you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your work-life balance. You learn a lot about your ability to execute projects in a timely manner. And it is eye-opening in a lot of ways. And that is why we are onboarding. We need people, in my opinion, to help us in a lot of ways. For those of you that don't know, I back-end produce every show that comes out on this podcast network. And a lot of our schedule got thrown off because we took advantage of an opportunity where we said, hey, there's not that many podcasts covering the Olympics, especially on a daily schedule. Let's try it. And we did it. We successfully did that. Every single day of the 2024 Summer Olympic Games, we had a podcast release. It was some of the most stressful, time-consuming, and like true grinding hours of my entire podcasting career to this point, where we were doing a daily show that was being recorded at night because you kind of had to wait for the results of everything and see what you didn't want to miss out on things. And it was a success. But at the same time, it also set us back on this show. Unfortunately, it set us back on multiple show schedules. And, this year in particular has taught me to invest in the things that are working and pushing the things that are working. And there's a lot that's working at this company still to this day, which is amazing. But the things that aren't working, what do we have to do to make them work? What are the things that are easily fixable? What are the things that are so difficult we need to scrap it? And what are the things that are in between, and which path do they long-term kind of fit in? And that is what makes being a business owner and a head of a content company like a video game. You have to beat levels in order. You can't. It's not like Pokemon Gold and Silver, where you could go and battle certain gym leaders out of order. You have to go in order of the level up. And you can't get Charizard before you get to Charmeleon. You can't get Charmeleon before you go get your first Pokemon from Professor Oak in Charmander. And that is the fun part about being a business owner, is figuring out how you're going to approach this next level and what are the things you need in your bag. What are the bricks that you have to hit that have a question mark on them to either get a level up mushroom, or a raccoon tail, or a star to run through a brick wall? What are the power-ups you need in order to succeed on this level? And, some of those levels are huge. Some of those levels take time. And some of those levels you get a power-up. Like last year when we were covering Red October, we got power-ups because we invested in Philly season tickets for the Sunday package. So we were at playoff games. That's a level up. That's a power move for content. I go on Twitter and quote tweet something from one of our awesome partners in FOCO, and I get overall sent to me, and that has become a staple of our content. It's overall season coming up. And our partnership with FOCO is another thing that's huge. So, I mean, like, what are the keys to success, and what are the power-ups you need in order to get through a level, and how do you make it so that you don't lose all 3 lives on that level and have to start over? We've been lucky. We've gotten through from 2018 to 2024, almost 2025, without losing all 3 lives. We got through some tough fucking levels. Okay? It's awesome. I love this company so much. I love sitting down in front of a microphone and talking to you guys every single week. And I love the relationships and the partnerships and the growth assets we have here, and just figuring out this business ownership game, this content life, and running a company at the same time.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And what that entails to have us succeed, and what partnerships and relationships do we have to forge to level up, to get through this next level, to go on to a new chapter in this book. Who needs to be a part of our team? What can we do to level up and get to the levels of a Barstool Sports, of The Ringer, of, an Unwell Media and a Call Her Daddy type thing, of, all of these outlets that are out there. What is our next move to level up and be that much bigger, that much better? What do you, as a consumer of our content, want to see from us that would make us stand out? Like the way that we have lacrosse, like the way that we have Formula One and motorsports. What are some things that would make us stand out? I'd love to hear from you guys. Obviously, number one for me is funding and financials and getting financial backing for this company so that I and everyone else that feels the way I do about this company, who creates for us, can do this full time, because that is my goal. I want to be able to have something like Barstool Chicago and be able to come to work every day with some of my best friends on the planet and create content day in and day out, and have people running the business end, have people running the sales end, have people running the social end, running the graphics end, the production end. And we all come together, and Underground is the next big media company. That's my goal. That is the pie in the sky. How can we get there? What do we have to build to get to that pie in the sky? That's what I deal with every day up here, is thinking of how can I get to the moon with this company, because that is my goal, and I will do it until the end of time. I appreciate every single one of our partners, our growth assets, our sponsors who believe in this show, who believe in the vision of Underground Sports Philadelphia and Underground Sports as a whole. I appreciate all of our creators and every single listener out there, because you guys make it so that we can keep going. You're the best. Make sure you guys are following us at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, everything. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the pod on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below. Anything that comes to mind when you watch and listen to this episode, let me know. I want to hear from you guys as well. And of course, the show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 672 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. We are ever so close to fully being caught up. I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. But until the next episode, I'm getting the heck up out of here and I'm signing off. Peace.